Hello everyone, I'm Jane and welcome to this new video. Christmas season is almost coming and after this really complicated and challenging year, I really hope that this can be a really nice time for all of you who are watching this video. A lot of us lost too much. Uh, you know, I think we deserve a break from all this shit. But I'm here also to warn you about the trans people situation during this kind of period, because actually it can be even more challenging than the rest of the year, and I'll explain you why. Try to think to be a trans person who came out to a family that is not accepting, like it can be my case, or who are struggling at coming out with their family because they feel like they are not going to be accepted as they are. Imagine to find the wrong gift under the tree, to be called with your birth name all the time, the wrong pronouns. Imagine the stress you can get from this kind of situation. And for this reason, a period that should be the most chill one, the most relaxing one, the one where you feel more, where you should feel more loved, can become actually more painful. And I'm here to speak about something related to this in particular. And I mean the birth name. What's the birth name? The birth name is actually the name that is chosen usually by your parents when you are born, when you was born. And you know, it's something that trans people usually don't relate with after that they come out with themselves. This name is also called dead name because mass media, journalists, usually in bad news related to violence against trans people, go to look for the birth name and they use it to speak about this person. In this sense, it becomes the dead name, the name people use once you are dead. I still prefer the definition of birth name because I think it's really creepy to speak about death. But I hope that this helps you understanding how much it's hurtful for trans people to keep using a name they don't recognize anymore. So, just to let you know, questions like, uh, what was your name? Or, yes, but how was your name before you came out? Or, yes, but what's your real name? That it's even worse, are a big no-no. You shouldn't go for these questions. You shouldn't ask for it. And it's a really harmful thing you can do to a trans person. Because it's actually like saying, okay, you told me that this is your name, but okay, what's the real one? And no, the name we have chose to introduce ourselves is actually the real one. It's like you are negating our identity. It's so bullshit that people act like they have to know who you are. It's like they pretend that you don't know who you are, and you are introducing yourself in a wrong way. This is not okay. This is actually a violence you're doing against another person. So like saying that their identity is not valid, and this is wrong. And this is why you should be careful with your trans friends or members of the family during periods like Christmas, because if we introduce ourselves with a name, it's because that's our name. It's really easy to explain it actually, but you still go through situations where they act like they can't believe it to what they're hearing, or like they don't take you seriously. I want to tell my story with my birth name, actually. It's a really particular one because I have actually a genderless name. What does it mean? That it's used by people who have a child for assigned male at birth persons or assigned female at birth persons. So it can be used actually by anyone without even changing a single letter of the word. And during the early years of my life, I had a lot of people who actually told me, "Oh, you have a name that is used by female too. Your name is for female." And in that kind of context, when you have a lot of people around you telling you the same thing, you feel like you are targeted. But the meanwhile, I was like, oh my god, so I'm over the binaryism. Of course, as I explained at the time, I had no idea what was binaryism or transgender. I had no idea about these topics because, unfortunately, my family is not really open-minded about these topics, and they are utterly ignorant about this. So, and in Italy, these topics are still taboo, a bit less than before, but imagine knowing about transgender people at school. It was something impossible. But at the same time, I was like, oh my god, I'm over this male and female thing. I can be a female because of my name too. Of course, this was something that I understood only when I started with my transition journey, when I started to come out with myself, as I say. But it was the first case where, or I don't know if it was the first case. I should listen other kind of stories like mine. But I think it's a really particular case though, where the birth name actually helps you to come out. Of course, I'm not going to still take this name because, some people are like, oh, you are really lucky because now that you are coming out as transgender, we can still call you with this name and you'll not feel offended. And in a certain sense, once that you explain this, it's true. I made this name suit my gender at the moment. But it's still something that I feel like someone else fought for me in another way. So it's still tricky. It's not a name that I completely hate. And as I say, it's a name that actually helped me in a sort of a ironic way, because usually the birth name is something you completely fight, you hate, and you want to do erase. You don't want to listen anymore. But during this phase, because as I said, in the future I would like to go for after the names I would like to adopt for myself. But during this period of my transition, it's like friendly. It's like what allowed me to cheat with people in a certain sense, who think of me in a way, but I know who I am. It's let me say a less hurtful for me. I think I was lucky in it, and I'm actually happy about how the situation is for my name. As I said, you don't have to go for birth name with people. But at the moment, I'm like, okay, if you think at this name in the way I told you, we at the moment are fine. It's a bit easier in a certain sense. And as I said, thinking of me as someone who had a name that can't be referred to only males or to only females was actually something I perceived and I felt as cool. So my singular situation was a really lucky one. But I invite you, all of you, to respect the name we choose to introduce ourselves. Because, as I said, it's like negating our identity. It's like saying, no, I don't believe you. I think you are cheating with me. And this is not true. This is actually really harmful. It's actually something you should avoid. And this is my invitation for this Christmas season. Respect names, respect gender, respect pronouns of your trans, non-binary friends. And if you are struggling with a situation like this, my dear trans brothers and sisters and friends, you can share your experience with me. We can speak about this together. And I wish you can have the happy Christmas you actually deserve, because we deserve to be happy. Thank you for watching me today. I'll see you soon.